This is Sybert signing into Tiberium Wars, and if that is not a beautiful glow, I don't know what is. This is an FFA on Roctagon. Now they call it a Team FFA. It's really a 2v2v2v2v2. 8 players, 4 teams, and for some reason they call it a Team FFA, which is kind of funny. Anyways, in the north, going for a Shadow Team rush, this is the red nod, Claymore. Their ally as the purple nod, this is Training Acc. Moving down as the yellow GDI, it's Reconquest. Their teammate as the blue GDI, it's Wingman. Down here in the south, as the green nod, it's Dimitrey. And their ally as the pink scrin, crane first, it's BikeRushOwnz. Our final team, our final set of 2 going for a fast expand to the middle as the cyan scrin, it's Lumos. And their teammate as the orange nod, it's Devastator. Alright, this is going to get absolutely insane. I imagine BikeRushOwnz and Dimitrey probably the strongest team. Lumos is also very good, however, I know nothing of Devastator. And in team games, your teammate can definitely make or break the situation. So we'll have to see what kind of moves Devastator can put out, but obviously coming into this, the strongest team right out of the gate is BikeRushOwnz and Dimitrey. Kind of curious move here from Training Acc. He has got so many, I assume these are all loaded up with engineers. Yeah, all of these carryalls have engineers to try and grab these tib spikes. Now, he's not going to get the cash back on the tib spikes for the most part, but, you know, he'll be able to hold them for at least a couple of seconds, and I think it's 20 seconds. Yeah, if you get them for 20 seconds, then that engineer has paid for itself, and everything on top of that is just gravy, so a couple of them were booby-trapped, so that does deny the income to your opponent. Shadow teams were trying to find some kind of opportunity. Okay, that's who was bombing that reactor earlier in this game, was the Shadow teams. And then, of course, these engineers are looking for opportunities. I don't think that was necessarily long enough, but it was booby-trapped, so BikeRushOwnz loses out on the 500 credits. Well played there by Training Acc, getting some value out of his engineers early on. And the Shadow team, this one from Devastator, here to, I'm guessing, bomb some stuff. Yeah, it looks like he probably took out a power plant of Claymores. So Claymore is not going to be too happy about that. Bike and Buggy moving in for Devastator to harass Claymore a little bit here. This is just a Buggy swinging in for a bit of a scout, and BikeRushOwnz putting some pressure on Lumos. This is a good move from BikeRush. If you're BikeRush, you want to kill Lumos pretty much as your #1 target. He's probably by far the guy strongest who's most likely to kill you. And in this case, Dimitrey is putting pressure on Wingman. So they're both striking out early. Bike Buggy for Dimitrey and Seeker Tanks for BikeRush. Of course, Photon Cannons are going to help clean this up, but 1 Harvester has already gone down. Perhaps even 2 were cleaned up there by BikeRush. And it looks like it's going to be a similar kind of a story for Wingman, losing at least 1 Harvester. At this point, definitely 2, as Dimmy would be silly not to swing in on these. And even a 3rd Harvester gets eliminated. Oh my gosh, he almost leaves it alive. Oh, he does leave it alive! The repairs are just good enough, and it looks like that single Buggy is not actually have enough firepower to kill off that Harvester. Dimmy is going to swing back in. He's got 2 flame tanks, and this is it for Wingman. Claymore in the north and Devastator unintentionally kind of meeting here in the middle, and of course Lumos is not very far away, but I don't know that his photon cannons will really be too much there. Tripod gets locked down by Lumos. It is kind of unfortunate that BikeRush and Lumos spawned right next to each other. In this case, obelisks are now here, so it's going to be Obelisk versus Storm Column, which is always nice if you've got a nod ally to have them drop an obelisk or 2 in this situation to help you out. Flame tanks moving in here from, I think, Reconquest. Or no, not Reconquest, Devastator. Yellow and orange look similar on a flame tank. Dimmy now going to be showing up into the middle, but it's actually going to be Claymore's tanks that are reverse moving away, firing a couple of shots at Dimmy's harvesters before getting on out of there. And Devastator versus Claymore, but Training Account is trying to help out when and where he can, and at least for now, Devastator is going to be losing this fight. Claymore has got the better army, and he's got Training Account to back him up as well. Someone just fired off a Tib Catalyst missile. It nuked 3 refineries, or even 4, I don't know what that was, but it nuked at least 2 refineries there, and maybe even a 3rd or a 4th. Harvester's taking a little bit of damage as this photon cannon gets a couple of shots off, but ultimately, Lumos has been pushed back from the middle here. He's trying to run his MCV somewhere else. He has kind of given up on this front line. He's out-teched and being attacked by storm columns as well, so he doesn't have much of a chance there. Reconquest has set up next to this Tiberium spike that got exploded, and I guess I missed this, but Wingman is out of the game. Training Account got 2 refineries here in the middle. Would be nice if he could add on a 3rd, and I don't know what that Harvester was doing. He was hanging out over here next to the battle, wanting to be a hero or something, but most likely just endangering his own life. A couple of screen units from Bike Rush going to be heading through the middle of the map, and Claymore is gearing up for a second attack. Tiberium Vapor Bomb on top of a power plant to nuke it, and I guess try and stop any potential base defenses from going down. Devastator is getting devastated. His couple of avatars here are not going to be enough to stop the firepower of Claymore, who's just going to roll over him with his Scorpion tank army. Dimitrey might be starting to turn his attention a little bit further left on this map as he has taken over Wingman's base. Once again, 3 or 4 refineries get destroyed by that catalyst missile, and BikeRushOwnz and Dimitrey having a little bit of a tough time establishing anything there in the middle of the map with any kind of permanence. Descents from Lumos going to be the choice, and he's going to be able to clean up 1 Harvester without too much trouble. Reconquest's Harvester over there taking a little bit of damage, and it's a wormhole right into the main base as he grabs it and he teleports away. He's going to be forcing the obelisks to auto-target the MCV and snipe it. Very unfortunate there for Claymore as he loses his MCV. Claymore is going to take the bait. He's going to move in here with a Black Hand Squad, of course. Wormholes work both ways, and they also work for all parties. So this is actually hilarious that he just teleported a Black Hand Squad to the other side of the map. Unfortunately, I think it just got routed in with his, army hotkeys, and he just walked it into a bunch of base defenses. It would have been great if we flamed down a bunch of buildings. I guess the Disruptor Tower was there or whatever. The Stealth Tower was there to provide a little bit of hiding. Was that yeah, that was another mastermind. That was from Lumos, just got killed by that buzzer swarm being called in there. So Lumos trying to execute the same kind of a move, but it didn't quite work out as well. Dimmy now going to be moving forward. He's aiming for Training Account, who's been able to power up pretty well along the left side of this map. Reconquest and Wingman were the only other 2 players over here, but they have been playing fairly passively. Wingman extremely passively since he's dead. Mind Drop gets called in. Dimmy loses another Harvester, but I think that'll be mostly it for those mines. I don't think they'll claim another life. They do a bit more damage. Phase fires off on these tripods, allowing them to escape. This is a lot of tripods, or excuse me, this is a lot of avatars coming in from Training Account. BikeRushOwnz getting attacked, backstabbed even by Claymore, who's targeting down the infrastructure that Bike Rush has. If you can sneak a couple of tanks into the back of someone's base, you can often do some pretty big damage. He's going to have some shock troopers to try and deal with this, and he's trying to get out some storm riders as well. Targeting down the power plants and the tech is definitely a good idea in this situation. He also wants to try and kill the gravity stabilizer. As you can see, he's splitting his damage across a couple of targets, which is not ideal. But, you know, I guess that will allow his Scorpion tanks to survive. I don't know, it would probably even be worth it to trade out some of those Scorpion tanks to make sure you get the guaranteed kill on that infrastructure. Lightning Spike here from Bike from when he invaded with the wormhole, and it's still around. It has not been cleaned up. A little bit of hallucination there, a little bit of hologram army or whatever, just to kind of absorb a couple of shots. And yeah, a lot of these Scorpion tanks end up going down anyways, and now they're about to travel through even more enemy territory. So I think Claymore probably should have just sacrificed them, dived on that infrastructure, and got the guaranteed kill. And the result is BikeRushOwnz was able to sneak out another drone ship. That makes 2 drone ships for him. Instead of having to rebuild his gravity stabilizer somewhere else, he got to finish that off without any contest. Obelisk versus a couple of GDI low-tech units is not going to work out very well for the GDI. Dimi even kills another harvester, and the Avatar, or the APC, does end up killing that engineer, but now it's just going to be a pit bull, and what are you going to do? You're going to try and, well, he can kill it with a sonic emitter, or he can kill it with the harvester. Gets the kill, and the MCV packs up. This entire green field in the middle has taken some serious harvesting, and it is nearly gone in comparison to how big it was at the beginning of this game. About half of it has been hoovered up by these harvesters. Once again, training account flying. No, this is actually Claymore's Venoms. Training account being the one flying around with the Venoms earlier in this game. He's starting to obelisk push his opponent. He may need to refocus some of his resources, selling off refineries or extra obelisks into more avatars, so he's got a bit more of a mobile army. And into the corner of the map, says Dimi. He says, I'm assuming to BikeRush, fly your drone ship into the corner of the map. Engineer coming in for Lumos does manage to grab that Tiberium spike, so that's great for Lumos. Claymore drops down an obelisk, and Claymore and training account with kind of no opposition as BikeRush was fighting Lumos and Dimi was fighting Wingman earlier in this game. These 2 guys from the north have been able to establish themselves as a force to be reckoned with. Now, this is a tournament series. I didn't bother checking how many games it would end up being, so we'll have to find out at the end whether this is a what kind of best of this is. Normally, team game tournaments are like best of 5s in the finals, but sometimes you see even shorter series for something like this. Although, you know, maybe someone wants to be really wild and it'll be a best of 7. So we'll have to see exactly what kind of series this was when we get to the end of it. This is an overwhelming Avatar army coming out here for Claymore. BikeRushOwnz is going to have to seriously pull something out of his hat with not a lot of cash left on the map to be able to stop this Avatar army. Training account closing in on the plasma missile batteries, which are there guarding him. Lumos and Devastator still technically in this game. I mean, you got to hand it to Lumos. He's got a bunch of harvesters doing nothing, but you got to hand it to him, rebuilding almost absolutely everything. I wonder if he's just saving up cash, trying to get enough for a mothership. But Devastator and Lumos hiding out in their base. Although at the same time, Reconquest has been kind of hanging out. He's just defending himself. Oh my gosh, he's going to get nuked so hard. As the Venoms kill the drone ship, and that will do it for that drone ship, pretty much for BikeRush. Venoms are literally overwhelming a plasma missile battery, not something you see very often. Claymore and training account going to be the strongest players in this game, and it looks like... okay, Lumos was going for a mastermind move, and Claymore is going to try and reclaim that Tiberium spike. It's not quite going to work out. I hope you guys are ready to see more Roctagon action. Oh, another drone ship. Oh, he split 3 drone ships around the map. I don't know. You might be able to technically land on here. Like, all of this is inaccessible terrain as far as I know. Although, maybe technically there. There's some flat spaces that could potentially be places where you could land. Well, Reconquest, he's doing something. BikeRushOwnz is not leaving this game. He is sticking it out to the bitter, bitter end. Another harvester for Devastator going down there. And these guys are just slowly but surely trying to kill the last of their opponents. Lumos, wow, he stasises 2 and he lightning spikes to try and save his mastermind. He is really dependent on the mastermind plays. He has sold off the signal transmitter, and is he going to be able to save the mastermind? The answer is yes, but only barely. And actually, these buggies could potentially dive in. No, they're not going to go for it. They're not going to go for the sacrificial dive. That one was trying to. He was trying to be a hero, but he is not going to make it happen. And now training account turns his guns on to Reconquest, who has pulled everything for the defense. It's a paltry defense. It's a somewhat useless defense, but he does manage to pull everything that he possibly can. This is so many avatars. They instantly pretty much melt that MCV coming out from Reconquest. Green tripods from Dimmy. He reclaimed these from someone. He wasn't originally tripods. He wasn't originally Scrin, but he has reclaimed a couple of tripods there. And BikeRushOwnz is still in this game, technically, you know. Look at this. Training account is pinging, I think, the edges of the map. He's saying, hey, go check there with your Venoms just to make sure that there's nothing hiding along the edges or along the fringes. And they're definitely trying to kill BikeRush, or I imagine they're hunting for BikeRush. And since he's got the flying drone ship, you know, that's most likely what they're trying to eliminate, is who wants to get backstabbed by BikeRush after almost winning a team game like this. Lumos and Devastator, technically, you know, still in this game. Reconquest, half dead since his wingman is gone. And, yeah, this is pretty much it. Devastator pinging for some reason. I guess he's telling Lumos to teleport in and steal an MCV, but, like, this is not Claymore's only MCV. Is that Claymore's only MCV? Did he not build a second one after all this time? Oh, alright, so actually that would be something. I mean, obviously he has a huge army, lots of infrastructure, and tech, so doing that wouldn't really do anything. Dimmy and BikeRush are out. Reconquest is still technically here. Another mastermind gets killed by Claymore, so Lumos trying with his masterminds, but it just doesn't quite work out. And this is going to be, I think, a moment for the box art, as all of these avatars march toward this one storm column. Ooh, even going to be calling in the hallucinated army. Oh, and the Scrin army is mobilized. Devastator taking over for Lumos. Oh my gosh. He calls in the Tip Catalyst missile. They're just wasting money at this point. So well played in game number 1 to Claymore and Training Account. If Reconquest manages to pull this one out, this will be perhaps the biggest comeback kind of a win ever. Oh, he nuked a couple more refineries over here. Someone did. I guess it was Devastator did. Devastator has been defeated. And then there were two teams, that is. 3 players in total. This is, it's not the most one-sided mismatch I've ever seen, but it's pretty close. This is about as one-sided as it could be. Venoms are literally going to be able to kill power plants faster than this AA battery could possibly hope to kill them. They don't even bother killing the AA battery. They just move on to other power plants, which finally does send Reconquest into low power mode, and he's not a fan of saving people time. He is a fan of wasting time, and so we have to watch as his... Oh my gosh, he's got an MCV over here. All right, boys. There we go. Reconquest wasting everybody's time in this video, but trying to fight it out until the bitter end, and trying to keep his hopes alive of the comeback, because if he came back from that situation, that would truly be one of the biggest throws by Claymore in Training Account, or one of the most incredible plays by Reconquest. So that will do it for game number 1, a wild match from this 2v2v2v2v2v2v2, and let's see what happens in game number 2. And spoiler alert, we are back on the Roctagon. All of the games for this finals will, of course, be on the Roctagon. Now, kicking it off in game 2 in the north as the Cyan Nod, it's Lumos. Some of these guys changed up their colors, they changed up their spawning positions, so I'll try not to mix things up from game number 1. To the left, Lumos' teammate, it's Devastator as the green GDI. Making up our team on the left, it's as the orange GDI, Wingman. And, of course, his teammate as the yellow GDI, Reconquest. Or is it Reconquest? I don't know. I guess they were technically second place. But in the south, as the blue nod, this is Dimitrey. And as the pink scrin, it's BikeRushOwnz. And our final team, the winners of game number 1, this is Training Acc. As the purple nod, and as the red nod, this is Claymore. Alright, now this is one of those official maps that also works as an FFA map, which is why team games can get so funky on it. You know, things can be very one way in one game and very different in another game. Couple of shadow teams running around the map, and we have got ourselves an operations center, which means we might have ourselves a flame tank rush on the way for Dimmy. I don't know. Ooh, the double foxhole play coming out from Wingman. He is ensuring that all of his riflemen indeed have wingmen. Engineer's going to be coming out from Reconquest, but he really needs scouting squads heading in a different direction. Dimmy is now showing up with his first flame tank, going to be torching this war factory. He is going to be getting things off to a hot and spicy start. Lumos off with an explosive start as well. His shadow team's heading over. He got that. Oh, this is not good. He got the war factory from Reconquest. There are no where are the base defenses? Either from Wingman, who's not being a very good Wingman right now, or from Reconquest. But at any rate, the MCV has packed up, so there's no more build radius. I guess maybe around the... Actually, no, your allies don't get build radius around refineries, right? It's just the MCV. 3 flame tanks for Dimitrey showing up. He's going to be able to torch this base, absolutely no problem. And this is pretty much kicking Reconquest out of this game. So he is almost completely dead just right from the start. Into the middle of the map goes Claymore, looking to establish quickly into the middle of the map an expansion, which worked out very well in the previous game, although he's beaten to the punch by Devastator, Lumos' teammate, who is already there. Pitbulls are here to clean up this flame tank. Of course, they had advanced warning. Again, Wingman going to be protecting himself as he cleans up that flame tank. That wasn't the only... Okay, 2 other flame tanks still in the main base of Reconquest, and his MCV is... Oh, he's got a lovely little outpost here, so that's keeping him in the game. I think his MCV went down. I think we're going to have to call that MCV probably dead at this point. I think this is maybe a second. Yeah, this is a second MCV coming out for Devastator. So a little bit unfortunate for Wingman, who's got an MCV here, but no teammate. And then he's got a teammate with no MCV and just an outpost. So technically this guy can survive in this game for a good long time. Secret Tank's going to be coming out. It looks like they were able to clean up some... So those were shadow teams. I don't know what they actually did. Claymore shadow teams flying around. Well, I guess this is his teammate's base, but that's... Wait, is he? Wow, he is up to a Tib chemical plant already. Training account up to a Tib chemical plant. I think a couple of power plants of bike rushes may have gone down. He did hunt down those shadow teams as we saw earlier, and he's starting to put a bit of pressure on Claymore. He does not want to give Claymore an opportunity to kill him like in that last game, so instead he's going to be putting some direct pressure on this expansion here in the middle of the map. Dimmy going to be taking a little bit of damage. Never mind, that's just riflemen. They're going to be contending with a shredder turret, which isn't going to work out very well. 1 harvester down, but an obelisk actually showing up here for Training Acc, but a heroic flame tank from Dimmy shows up. He got all the way to heroic status with his flame tank. He's going to melt through this MCV oh so quickly. Goodbye, MCV. Hello, heroic flame tank. Anytime someone gets... Oh, no, don't fight the Scorpion tanks. The Scorpion tanks clean up that flame tank. The refinery still stands. It's always great when someone manages to keep something alive long enough for it to go heroic, and it always feels so good when you get good upgrades with that heroic status. Sonic emitters going down for Devastator, going to be able to clean up those rifleman squads. Also, Juggernaut's pumping on out for Devastator. He's going to be fighting Wingman with them, and Wingman is going to be going up against triple Sonic emitter GDI. This guy has a lot of cash, a lot of MCVs out here on the map. A couple of Sonic emitters are going to go down, but they are low powered. He's going to be getting even closer with those Sonic emitters, cleaning up a couple of the units from Wingman. Scorpion tanks versus Obelisk, and Claymore trying to mount some kind of a defense against, I guess this is Dimitrey and a little bit of Bike Rush, but mostly Dimitrey here, as Training Account drops a air tower. Could be just for the support powers, and those obelisks on the other side of Claymore, actually from Lumos. I was wondering why they were shooting the Avatar, but of course they're from Lumos. And Training Account going to be fighting on the south side here, making use of Hands of Nod and Tib Silos to block off some attacks. I think those were mines dropped perhaps by Training Day, now that he's got access to the support power. Beacon getting... Is that Bike Rush? That was Bike Rush's... What was he doing all the way over there? It does get cleaned up there by that stealth tank. That is pretty funny. Bike Rush has 2 Seeker tanks somehow in the middle of Devastator's base, and Devastator actually being protected a little bit there by Lumos. I don't know that Devastator really needs protecting in this case. He is double Sonic Emittering and 5 Juggernauts here, and a Tib Catalyst Missile coming in, crashing into all of Bike Rush's stuff. But what has he got? He's got an MCV. He's got a drone or a mothership called in. Not something you see very often. The drone platform, not what I was referring to. He stasises the stealth tank, and he drops his own. That's why he was keeping the MCV around. He wanted to drop his own base defenses so he could chain. Devastator being devastated by this chain reaction, wiping out his entire army and almost wiping out Dimitrey as well. Dimitrey barely out of range. His Conyard with hardly a pixel of health left. And look at that, BikeRushOwnz going to be claiming a huge amount of firepower over Lumos and Devastator. He drops a lightning spike as well so he can get the chain. It connects with Lumos, and Lumos is almost dead. Lumos with triple MCV in his main base, but with no cash. Devastator, I don't think, without an MCV at all. Devastator lost everything. Truly, Devastator lost almost literally everything. He has no production facilities unless he snuck something somewhere on the map that I don't know about. An incredible move by BikeRushOwnz. An amazing match here. And oh my gosh, a heroic stealth tank as well. What a move there by BikeRushOwnz. In a couple of moments, in 2 blasts, he almost completely nukes 2 players out of the game. I mean, technically, they're still here. No, actually, Devastator has indeed left. So he hands everything over to Lumos. Lumos with a couple of stealth tanks, one of them gone heroic. This is one of those things that I just love about Command & Conquer. Oh, this heroic stealth tank can actually survive a full blast from that obelisk, and they can also get some good damage. Oh, this is actually Claymore's base in here with Lumos attacking it. Claymore getting hit kind of from 2 fronts as he was having to deal with Bike and Dimmy, and now having to deal with the heroic stealth tank. Anyways, Avatar is now going to be stepping forward for Dimitrey. He's going to be contending with this army of Predator tanks. If only these were upgraded Predator tanks, they'd be doing so much more damage. Railguns would be a big assist to this army. Even a Mastermind getting in on the action, going to be capturing a Predator tank and blinking something, just teleporting nothing there. Panic Fanatics going to be coming out, and another Tib Chemical Missile going to be firing off somewhere on the map. I'm not actually sure where that impacted. Up here, it hit Claymore and it hit Training Camp, so a little bit of tit for tat coming in from Dimitrey. Avatars from Training Account going to be stepping on down. Looks like Bike Rush has been beaten back from the high ground, from his original main base. He has been beaten onto the low ground, and this is going to be a tough fight. Dimitrey's got a decent amount of stuff, and of course Bike Rush is a resilient fellow for sure. Lumos is starting to reclaim some stuff, and it looks like a Tib Chemical Bomb, Tib Vapor Bomb fires off. A little bit of Venom versus Venom action. Training Account versus Lumos, and Lumos, it looks like, is going to be losing out in this game, but oh man, that heroic stealth tank doing so much damage. Again, this is one of those things that I absolutely love about Command & Conquer. This is not an epic unit. This is not a heroic unit. It's just a regular unit that has had epicness hoisted upon it. These Venoms, once again, just getting almost insta-killed from Training Account by that stealth tank. Dimitrey going to be taking a little bit of heat as well, and my gosh, that is so many Venoms going down. That single stealth tank doing so much damage to Training Account's Air Force down in the south. Dimmy going to be losing a lot of infrastructure, but this is not particularly important. This is kind of the extra stuff here in the middle of the map is where most of the important stuff is going on. Once again, this heroic stealth tank managing to escape death by just by quite a lot actually that time, because of the stealth and the Venoms, and he was able to hide pretty darn easily. Once again, Wingman going to be backing on off, and in the north, Avatars, are they going to be... Oh no, he sacrifices his stealth tank for nothing. He gets a good amount of damage on that Avatar, but there was also battle markers up here. I'm not sure. Oh, it could be Harvesters running into some of Claymore's stuff. Yeah, he's running into an Obelisk. And once again, Venom v Venom. This time, Lumos has the advantage in the air, but not for long, as Lumos has been defeated. He is out. Devastator and Lumos completely gone from this game. Wingman trying to make something happen. He's even somehow got a power plant in Dimitrey's base, although I guess this is actually Reconquest's old base. So I don't know how he ended up with that power plant there. Somehow Reconquest's still in this game. Literally just this outpost keeping him in the game as far as I know. Lumos and Devastator are indeed out. And somehow Wingman and Reconquest holding on. But I don't think for too much longer. Dimitrey's got the strength left in him to kick them out. Claymore is also out at some point. I wasn't really paying too much attention. But he's handed everything over to Training Account. And Training Account actually has a decent amount of stuff. He doesn't have a lot of access to Tiberium. The amount of the field that he controls is less than what Bike Rush and Dimitrey control. And look at this, the Juggernaut husks reclaimed by Bike Rush, going to be able to make use of Devastator's Juggernauts. That power plant taking a bit of damage there. And this has got to be it. There are some Harvesters there. Oh, this power plant is literally it for Wingman. So Reconquest and Wingman, they are indeed out. Yep, Reconquest is indeed gone. Obelisks going down, but they are low-powered for Dimitrey. Bike Rush starting to move forward. He's got shock troopers. He's got plasma disc launchers so that he can do more damage. He's got juggernauts. He's got tripods. He's got a fearsome attacking force. And then there were two teams, but 3 players between them. Dimmy and Bike closing in on Training Account. I don't know that he's been able to train for this. And this is just going to be a lot of firepower heading his way. He's got some avatars, and he had an army a little while ago, but I think most of it has evaporated at this point. Mines get dropped down on top of these tripods. I think it's too little, too late to stop the overwhelming firepower that is Bike Rush and Dimitrey combined. This is a lot of late-game Tier 3 walkers that are just putting out an insane amount of lasers on to Training Account stuff. Training Account trying to mount some kind of a defense, even as MCV gets paused there by this stasis, as he cannot construct any more obelisks while that is locked down in that way. And everything is just melting away. He's going to fight it out to the last man and rocket, but I don't think there is a whole lot of hope of him mounting some kind of amazing comeback. Anything is possible, as always, but I don't think it's very likely in this case that Training Account mounts some kind of amazing comeback. This Tiberium field, will we see it 100% harvested? We are getting extremely close to it. Of course, there is still a decent amount of cash left on the map, so this, 10 grand or so still spread around the map in those pockets. And that will do it for that game, and Training Account taps out Bike Rush, and Dimitrey going to be putting a point on the board. And we have got some more games to get to. Some incredible plays coming out from this series. Such a pleasure to have these matches to cast. So let's jump into our next match. And once again, we're here on the Roctagon, with the broken bodies of GDI mechs in the north, going Crane first. As the green GDI, it's Devastator. We have to move to the right this time, as his teammate is the Cyan Nod, Lumos. And going for the blue nod, it's Dimitrey once again. And teaming up in color as the purple nod, it's BikeRushOwnz. But to the south as the red GDI, it's Claymore. And, of course, his teammate as the pink nod, it's training account. Finally, our last team as the yellow GDI Reconquest, and his teammate, of course, the orange GDI Wingman. What is, what's this over here? What is that? What is that going on? Bikes coming on out, riflemen skirmishing around the map, and, Wingman's got a surveyor, so that's pretty cool. And a stealth field going down on top of these APCs. These are APC engineers! Sneaky, sneaky boy, you dastardly villain, you. And the shredder turret goes down. Where's the stealth detection? The bikes don't see it yet. They detect them now. It's up. The jig is up. Here's going to be a power plant and a double shredder turret. The pack up of the MCV. BikeRush knows the game. He knows what's up. They're not going to get anything. Well handled by BikeRush. That was a sneaky, sneaky play. And it did not work. If he would have been able to avoid the stealth detection, he had a chance, but he was not able. That is the worst place for an engineer to be dropped off, and Devastator still got the Tib spike capture. Devastator going to be trying to be the first one to the middle of the map. Lumos also very quick to the middle of the map with his MCV as well. Reconquest not heading for the middle of the map, and not so much for Wingman, although maybe that's where... I don't know what he did with that. Okay, here's the surveyor here. Is he hiding it like in the corner or something? I don't know what the deal is. MCV comes in and it goes for training account from Reconquest. He did not manage to grab training account's MCV. He may have managed to grab something else. No, it's actually going to be bikes coming in from Bike, going to be hunting harvesters, and there's actually going to be from Claymore a watchtower for the defense. Big bike buggy army swinging in for Lumos. He's going to be potentially cutting down Dimitrey, but he's not going to be able to fight the Scorpion tanks straight up, not with reinforcements and repairs right there on the front lines. He's going to be going for the MCV. He's going to be able to put out a decent amount of damage. I don't know that he's actually going to be able to kill the MCV before the Scorpion tanks for Dimitrey show up. And of course, there always can be a hand of nod and a sneaky engineer to go for their instant heal. All the buggies could potentially target that down. Claymore into the middle of the map, and it looks like a scouting squad going to be taking a bit of Tiberium damage, and Claymore is going to be losing this harvester, almost instantly exploding in 2.5 volleys from all of those bikes, just hunting through the middle of the map. This is a great move by Lumos. He's got this fast bike buggy army. It, of course, isn't going to be hurt by the Tiberium, so use it to stop other people from establishing footholds and strongholds here in the middle of the map, while Devastator and Lumos do that very thing. Hand of Nod does go down. The MCV was fully repaired, so that's just a swing and out. That is not trying to do anything too crazy. Yeah, okay, he's trying to make use of some kind of, like, very edge of the map kind of thing going on there. Whole bunch of beacons going to be going down, and this is from Claymore. He grabbed a refinery. Sneaky from Claymore. I'm not sure what else he managed to grab, but BikeRush has dealt with it at this point. His MCV almost getting capped, I think, a second time, but no, Claymore is actually going to be potentially pushing BikeRush's MCV out of this game. A little combo action from Lumos and Claymore. I think somewhat accidentally attacking BikeRush at the same time. The MCV getting low on health. BikeRush going to be responding with 6. No, it's going to be 6 Scorpion tanks, but also 2 hands of Nod going to be producing rocket troopers at the same time. Beacons being thrown down here. He's saying, hey, there's no one out here or something like that. I'm not sure what he's trying to communicate, but training account needs to get some forces onto the front line. This BikeRush and Dimitrey Scorpion tank army is now actually looking quite scary. Lumos swinging in, once again hitting harvesters, hitting refineries, hitting even the Scorpion tanks of Claymore, and doing a bit of damage there, while Claymore is now being overwhelmed. His own MCV is about to be potentially captured by BikeRushOwnz, as he is actually going to be producing an engineer. He's going for the cap. There's the watchtower. He's forced to sell the MCV. I think that was Claymore's only MCV as well, so Claymore in a lot of trouble. No expansion here on the middle of the map, not a whole lot of infrastructure, not a whole lot of economy to speak of. And now, what little army that he does have is being pressured. Devastator walks all the way across this Tiberium field with Predator tanks to put some pressure directly onto BikeRush. I think maybe he was trying to smell blood in the water. He thought there was an opportunity, but there was not so much. Training account now going to be swinging in with his pink bike buggy army, going to be going for kills on Bike Rush's infrastructure, I guess, but again, I don't know that he can necessarily contend with the army. Bike Rush builds laser turrets, which is kind of cute, but haven't seen those for a long time here in Tib Wars. Oh man, where did this build radius come from? I don't know exactly how he got those refineries this far down here. Maybe he sold off an outpost or something, but this is a lot of production coming out from Devastator. Hopefully nobody kills him with a mothership, which probably won't happen, as I don't think there are actually any scrin in this game. But training account now swinging in over onto the right side. BikeRushOwnz is pretty much out of this game, and BikeRushOwnz is literally out of this game. Dimitrey, a team of one, is going to try and hole up in his base and then just wait for the rest to fight it out. Devastator with a huge circle of buildings swinging all the way almost around this Tiberium field. He is just going for mass refinery, mass war factory, tons of production. Lumos now going to be swinging in to try and deal with Dimitrey once and for all. Scorpion tanks as well as the bike buggy army. And over on the left side of the map, Wingman and Reconquest are just kind of hanging out doing nothing. They're just watching with the popcorn in a front row seat. But of course, Fog of War means that they have the worst seat in the house. Lumos overwhelming Dimitrey. And I don't know that there's anything that Dimitrey can really do. He's got reinforcements, but he's losing harvesters. 3 or 4 going down, exploding into little fiery bits, even the tier 2 being eliminated. And the MCV is at about 3/4 health, but the rest of Dimitrey is dead. Bike and Dimitrey, the first team out of game number 3. They were the victors in the previous game, and completing the circle with a Space Command uplink, almost a 360-degree. All right, we'll call it. This guy is overwhelming Devastator with a huge ring of buildings completely surrounding this Tiberium field and attacking it from every angle. Training account taking a bit of damage from Reconquest, who shows up with like 4 units when everybody else has 100 units. Railgun Predator tanks. It is going to be hard to stop Devastator and Lumos. This is going to be a tough fight for Reconquest and Wingman. Wingman, once again building lots of Predator tanks. He's not a big believer in teching up. He's not a big believer in expanding, but boy, oh boy, does he have a dozen Predator tanks or so. Shockwave artillery fires off. Claymore going to be reverse moving out of danger. And that's about as much as you can say for him. He's survived for the moment. Now, this could be a combo move where Claymore and Training Account together, their forces combined, may be able to overwhelm Devastator. Mine Drop could also be killer as these tanks explode. So much damage done so quickly, and this Scorpion tank army is going to be able to overwhelm these Predator tanks from Devastator. I think Devastator is going to lose this attack. Shockwave artillery or something going to be firing off here. I'm not sure. Oh, Orca Strike more likely is what he's called in here. But it's going to be too little, too late. Orca Strike, lovely attempt there, but nothing doing. You are dead, army. Now, of course, this guy has a full surround on this field. It's in total not as many harvesters as it really looks like, because it's like 1 harvester per refinery. But this is a lot of income. This is a lot of cash. Calling in so many support powers, just spending all of that money. Even calling in Zone Troopers and the Zone Trooper support pod, whatever that is called, the Zone Trooper reinforcements, which is like, I don't know, 3.5 or 4.5 grand. It's just called in onto the front line as Juggernauts are just slowly, lethargically raining fire down upon this army. Wingman doesn't really have much of a shot, but he's going to try. Even an ion cannon now out on the field. He's losing his war factory. That is his first war factory. The other one is over there, so he did have 2, but this is not a whole lot going on here for Wingman. A lot of beacons. Oh, once again, Reconquest is here with the outpost. He's just hanging out. He's not really doing anything, but he's hanging out. Goodbye, Reconquest. That was not his only outpost, apparently. He's got another one over here. All right, this guy's a big believer in sticking it out to the last minute, wasting time, but trying to take second place. And Wingman and Reconquest, as it turns out, in this particular series, the method of wait for the other guys to fight it out is not working out too well. Devastator showing up with a mammoth tank with railguns, literally rolling over all of the stuff of his opponent. Lumos is also here. He doesn't even have upgrades on his Scorpion tanks. Who needs upgrades? You just have overwhelming numbers. And that will do it for Claymore's base. He is almost out of here. I think this power plant is going to be it. And nope, he's got something somewhere else on the map. He, too, is just trying to hang out. Claymore has been defeated. So Claymore is out. Training account is pretty much out. I think that everything is gone from Reconquest. I don't know. Maybe he's got something else somewhere. Someone's beaconing something. Wingman has been defeated, so I think Reconquest and Wingman are finally out. They are gone. And Training Account is the only one left. He has got some strength, but not a whole lot left. Once again, Zone Trooper Drop Pod going to be called in, and this is just about everything. Oh my gosh, he Tib Catalyst missiles it. He gets the kill. But this is so many orcas. Training Account has been defeated. Claymore and Training Account going to be taking second place in this game. Devastator taking first place in our hearts with that unbelievable ring of refineries around the Tiberium field. What a game that was for him. Just an absolute explosion. Everyone else looking like amateur hour. I mean, in a normal game, you know, like for 12 minutes or whatever, the income that the other people had is like pretty okay, you know, 83,000 credits or whatever. But Devastator just out of control, 312,000 credits in 12 minutes, or however long this game was. Yeah, 12 minutes. And that will do it for the replays that were posted. So 3 games. I guess Claymore and Training Account took first, and then second in the last game. So I guess that's how that turns out. BikeRushOwnz and Dimitrey winning game number 2. Devastator and Lumos winning game number 3. Reconquest and Wingman, they tried their best to survive, but they ultimately didn't get very far. That will do it for this game, for this series, for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And these were definitely some fun 2v2v2v2v2v2s. And this is Sybert, signing out.